All right, here we are. We are streaming a bit late today. Welcome everyone who is watching us on YouTube and on Twitch. Apologies for the delays, but it's been real. The delays have been real. Of course, you cannot dispute that very fact. But we're here now, and that's all that matters. And yes, we are switching it up a little bit today, as we are going to be doing a little bit more. Uh, well, there's multiple reasons as to you're kind of not playing the game today. I figured it's already kind of late, right? We're already kind of running a lot, like I think maybe 2 hours late. So it's like, we're kind of behind in terms of our timing here. So that's the main reason, because I saw Hoske asking on Twitch, it's like, do you have work tomorrow? Well, the real reason is that it's because I've kind of started streaming late. I started posting something on Instagram also fairly late. I wrote out this very long post uh on Instagram, and I'm like, okay, well, and I wanted to get it right, so I'm like, okay, fine. I'll just kind of postpone the stream, and then I realized, okay, it's been very much postponed. And so I guess I'm like, okay, let's now just maybe focus on the announcements instead of, me playing the game and going back and forth. Let's see how this goes. I think it's fun to do something new for once again. So we'll see how it goes. Also, Saturday, no streamo. And yeah, today we will be basically uh, talking about the game announcements that happened, while also touching on a lot of other things. Plus, of course, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I will be glad to engage with as many as with them. And yeah, one thing, we're gonna be ranking all these. Hopefully, I created this very quickly too. That's why it's like, oh, why is this guy so late? I created this thing. If you remember, we're gonna be doing our ranking of the announcements that happened during the Xbox showcase, and it's going to be fun. We can do it together. And yes, Saturday no stream, so that means no Red Dead Redemption for like 2 weeks, guys. No Red Dead Redemption for like 2 weeks, which is fine. Uh, we'll live somehow. Yeah, indeed, Hosky, very sad. All right. In that case, I think it's safe for us to start with uh, Indiana Jones. I would say that's the one I want to start with, because it's kind of like the one I don't know if it's the one that I care about the most per se, but it is one of those. Definitely as a series, it's something I very much care about, and it's looking fairly rough as a video game when it comes to games. I think there's other ones that look a lot more interesting. So yeah, uh, in that case, let's get started. And I know it might be disappointing that we're not playing the game, and I'm kind of disappointed too. But I'm like, dang, if just think of it this way, guys, if we were going to be, and I'll just start us at the very beginning, but think of it this way. It's like, if we started this late and we ended up going for like overtime, like imagine if we went for like 5 hours. Who knows what the next level would have thrown at us. Last time we were like kind of struggling because we're playing on hard, right? Which is to be expected. Oops. Hopefully the audio didn't go overboard. So yeah, it was kind of kicking our asses last time. And so it's like, okay, that plus there's a lot of announcements, and there's a lot of stuff to kind of cover here, and you guys might have some questions as well. We might get into some crazy discussions. I'm like, let's keep this to 2 hours tops, maybe less. Maybe less. Yes, I said it, maybe less, because again, so I'm like, okay, let's just focus on this, and let's have some fun discussions. And yeah, so in that case, let us uh let us just begin with the indie showcase. All right. So I've seen this trailer, by the way. Hold on, why isn't it playing for me? Is it too quiet? Okay, I guess I just have to turn it up for myself. Good, okay. Hosuke, can you believe that Baldur's Gate 3 is the best game on the PlayStation 5? Huh. Is it according to like the PlayStation blog? Is that where you like who said that? You know, it's a very popular game. I know friends of mine, I know, crazy to think about, but I have friends of mine who just extremely adore that video game. It's like beauty to them. It's a masterpiece, and for them, of course. And I'm like just like no, it's actually the opposite. It is gross, disgusting, and a total failure. I mean, sure, that it make a lot of money, of course. Was it critically acclaimed? Yeah, and who cares? All these games that we're going to be watching here will be all those things. They will make a lot of money. They will be critically acclaimed. They might even be, from a gameplay perspective, they might even be, some of these titles might even be like incredibly innovative, and yet that still doesn't necessarily make a good game. I think that's like huge parts of what makes a game good. But for Baldur's Gate 3 to be also very story heavy and choices and consequences and all that nonsense, the usual RPG stuff, you know, for that sort of game, the story matters a lot, and what they show you as well. It really takes center stage. That's part of like the gameplay itself. So yeah. So that's why I'm like, well, let's take a look at that. Look at it from that perspective, and then you'll see a lot beneath the surface. It's not even beneath the surface. They're not even hiding all the Barisec stuff. That's what they led with, honestly. And so they know what they're doing. And that's why we shouldn't stand for it at all. Don't get me wrong, it's not a good game, but it's the only game that can be considered the best given its resume. It's the only game that can be considered the best given its resume. I'm interested to hear what you mean by that. It's like, because I'm not sure if I understand you correctly. It's the only game that can be considered the best compared to like what other games, I guess, from that year, giving its resume. And I guess the resume is like, tell me more. Alright, let's watch this trailer.
Are you sure you want to investigate this, Indy?
I can't let this go. It could be the best kept secret in history.
Okay, so right away you can hear the voice is Troy Baker. Overrated actor. I enjoy his work. I cannot say enough good things about the performances he's given in a lot of these video games. But here he is so out of his own element. He's trying to sound like Harrison Ford, but it's the older version of Harrison Ford. And it's just listen to it.
What are you going to do, Indiana?
These artifacts have a deep connection to something in the past. Boss believes they hold a kind of power. A discovery that could change the world.
So yeah, it's first person.
What were you doing out there?
Fresh air!
Oh, oh no. What was that? That voice crack, come on, man. That was definitely not it. I mean, that's the kind of performance we're talking about here, where he's trying to sound like grouchy old Harrison Ford. I'll just replay that and make it a bit louder, that moment in particular, in case you guys didn't hear it. Hold on. Some other video just popped up, but yeah. Let's get it.
Fresh air!
And so that's Indy's voice.
We have to find the stones, Gina.
And Gina is this girl boss character who is going to be in this video game. There she is. Of course, she overshadows Indy in this frame. People might think, oh, you're reading into it too much. No, everything is very intentional with not only the gameplay choices and what the cutscenes are like, but the cutscenes that they choose, and even like the positioning of them, like the way she's placed above him and he looks like Short Round. That's very much intentional. Make no mistake. And it was probably also they were probably the game developers and whoever was responsible for the trailer, which was probably the publishing team. They were very much on the same page. I think my audio might be peaking a little bit. So if you're hearing any, like the audio levels going overboard, you can let me know. But yeah, I would say it's very intentional. And again, Indiana Jones should have pretty Bond women like women and not Phoebe Waller-Bridge that we had with Dial of Destiny or Dial of Diarrhea. Dial of Destiny, what a stupid title. Just throwing it out there. Yeah.
If you were to draw a line through these ancient sites around the globe, you'd get a perfectly aligned circle.
Look at her face. Her face is like, don't mansplain stuff to me.
The Great Circle.
And okay, let's listen to him.
Exactly.
Wait, is he drawing with her lipstick? Okay, whatever. So like this little exchange here does not come off as anything that you would see from the movies. The way that they have this back and forth, he has to kind of explain things to her. You kind of had that with the Last Crusade, but it worked there because he was going back and forth. It was a back and forth between Indy and his father, and so it added to that sort of bickering dynamic that added to the tension and explained a lot of the background that those characters had. Very awesome. And also, told you, like, yeah, it was the son-father dynamic that you wanted to kind of like learn more about. And they did tell you a lot about it just off of their interactions, and that in a lot of ways they were similar to one another, and that's why it made sense then. But also the way they kind of contrasted one another as well when they had disagreements. All that stuff, awesome stuff. This is just them leaning more into like the typical modern day, hey, we need a smart, strong woman who will hold her own. And that's pretty much on par with what you have seen with the recent films, especially Dial of Destiny. So it's pretty much on brand here.
The Great Circle.
Exactly.
And like even like this exchange here, it reminds you more of the Uncharted scenes that you would have with Nathan Drake speaking with Elena or Chloe or Sully, and it's like it reminds you of that more than it reminds you of Indiana Jones.
I intercepted the Morse code coming from the Himalayas.
Where Voss is sending all of his men.
Is that
First person was definitely them trying to be different from Uncharted, and it's really not going to pay off for them at all.
Battleship? Yep. Let's get a closer look. Gotta find the stone and get off this ship.
What's that in his hands? What does it say?
Earth something.
Again, kind of like a typical Uncharted scene. them going back and forth. You get to the item, and now they have to kind of talk about it. You know, Indiana Jones was very much kind of like, just take it, leave, and not really kind of like play around, have a discussion with anyone. And it's like, he knows what he's there for, and it's not a trap, right? So it's like there's nothing even complicated to this thing. I have a lot of questions about like how they even knew it was there, but I assume that's going to be explained. But usually they're not trying to track down a person, which is much harder to do. They're usually trying to track down an artifact. And so it's like, you assuming that this person would even hold this is already raising some narrative. For me, it raises a lot of questions, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were not answered with this story. In this story, I should say.
Who's that?
We'd better hide.
Okay, so here they come out, right? The Nazis. And is that supposed to be split screen? And look at this. She just pops out, okay? And bam. Blam. She should be dead right here on the spot. She should be dead. I mean, what else should I say? But no, this game has to obviously give her incredible amounts of plot armor.
Ciao.
Like, it's like they're looking for something. They're Nazis. And this guy has a gun. Somebody jump scares you. What is going to be his go-to reaction? It's obviously going to be, I'm going to shoot this person, or I'm going to at least raise my gun. And not just stand there doing nothing, looking all confused. And so somehow Indy gets hit. She is doing perfectly fine.
Hands behind your head.
And it's Indy who gets caught. Whereas I already forgot her name. It's Gina Carano. She has to sneak around, and I really do think that this is going to be an indicator that we're going to have some MJ scenes, like, you know, from Spider-Man 2, MJ stealth missions. I really do believe that we're going to have something of that type in this game as well with Gina. I mean, she's in the entire game. They have to do it. It's modern gaming. It's Bethesda. Their pronoun situation with Starfield, although it's of course a different studio. This one is made by Machine Games, who, if you don't know, they worked on the Wolfenstein remakes. And so those, in particular, had a lot of very questionable moments. I mean, if you want to talk about like progressive ideology, those video games had so much of it. And, you know, you had like your unusually diverse cast, because the game is set in like 1940s and you're fighting Nazis, and kind of an overlay here. I don't know if you've noticed. But you have a very diverse cast of characters, and then there's this like one infamously stupid scene where you have this pregnant woman just shooting a bunch of shooting guns at the Nazis and telling them to screw off, and she's like all naked, pregnant, and bloody, and it's just so over the top. It's one of those games, and yeah, it's not a very good time. So those are the people who are making this game, and I really do think that they will be adding MJ-like missions to Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, another stupid title.
Where's the stone, you American rat?
What stone?
Have you ever heard of Höhenangst?
Fear of heights?
Yes!
Fear of heights, that's the pun. Hoske says, but it's the only game... Oh, okay, I thought you kind of expanded on what you were thinking, but never mind.
this dreadful mountain even if my mind was screaming every step of the way. Because of a concept you narrow-minded Americans will never understand.
So now you can see that the trailer is kind of now revealing a lot more of the game. And the scene in particular.
Absolute devotion to the fatherland. You have no purpose.
The fatherland.
What you have is your stupid American cartoons. Choo choo, choo choo.
Yeah, this is the type. These are the villains.
You laugh and dance.
This is how the villains are going to be written like as, and it's machine games, all right. That's how they're going to be, and of course it's like, oh, they're Nazis. Who cares? I like compelling villains, and I do think that they're going to try to make the main guy a compelling villain because I've seen interviews of him trying to make him, you know, when I say compelling, I mean intimidating, cruel, sadistic maybe. That's what we want. We don't want to glorify these people, of course, but we don't want to just turn them into like total buffoons. It's total cheap. It's overdone and it's cheap and it's unfunny and it doesn't even fit with Indiana Jones. And watch somebody just kind of like point to like one scene where somebody was made to look stupid. It's still different than what it is than what is shown here.
Celebrating your own idiocy and drinking the piss you call beer. I will walk through fire for
And there's
the
Gina.
men of the Reich. Give me that stone. Now!
Can't give you what I don't have.
I shall search your corpse to make sure it!
Again, somebody jump scares you, and I believe it's even the same hand motion and position. And she's standing there, and they don't even bother to shoot her. You know, at least he raises his gun on her this time around.
Please wait.
But watch how this is going to develop.
Gina.
So she saves him, of course. And this might even actually be a interesting sequence here. Hey, Fog for Lego on YouTube. Don't worry, it's okay. It doesn't. It's all right that you're late. No worries. Don't worry about it. You're gonna talk about Sonic X Shadows games as well. You know what? That's maybe not even a bad idea. We'll see how we're doing with the rest. We only just started. We're kind of like working through every single, well, not every single one. I think there's too many of them, but we'll work through the main ones. And of course, the obvious ones are also like the one that you're definitely going to be interested in. But we're starting with Indy, and yeah. So yeah, but the Sonic X Shadows Generations is not a bad idea.
The stone! The stone!
Gina! Haltet sie auf! Erschießt sie!
Hab dich.
And this, like the whole setup, I think, you know, how like the whole ship tilts. They have to navigate that and make sure that they don't die. That even sounds like a pretty fun setup for a scene, like an action sequence. But why is it that, you know, they're tilted, but it's like he's the only one that's affected, and obviously you can see both of them smiling like in a very silly way. So now the ship is going to crash and it's going to break that sort of tension that they have going on here. Or not, never mind. I thought that's what was going to happen. Okay, now it happens. Okay. So it happens right after they get rid of the bad guys. You know, once they punch them, then the ship tilts. So it's like, is this even going to be like a dynamic sequence? You know, I kind of always think back to like Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, when you have the windmill sequence, and it's just, there's like so much happening. There's so many moving parts to this duel with swords, and you know everything is just moving, and these characters have to navigate and traverse this crazy obstacle, and everyone wants to get something. This looks like they're just kind of like punching people off the ship, and you know, like you created a setup where you have the chance to like tilt the entire ship, and now throughout this entire sequence you have to go back and forth from one side to the other, maybe to balance out the ship, and all the items are just kind of falling down, and it's like, you know, going back to Uncharted 3, I believe, with the whole ship sequence there, yeah. It was a very strong sequence in that video game, very fun, and it looks like it's not going to be the case in this scene from what we're gathering from this cutscene. What a mistake with the first person. Like, I know I've said it a bunch, but I really cannot undermine that enough. Okay, oops, right, they're playing the theme song, which might get us copyright struck, but yes, that's the trailer. That's the first trailer that we have on our hands here. Far Cry Lego. I'm gonna be interested in Perfect Dark as well, since I like the first two games. Interesting. I'll let you know what where I'm at with each franchise. I already kind of told you how I'm like with the Indiana Jones, how much I'm invested in it, how much I know, and that's going to carry over to like every single one of these titles that we're going to take a look at. So yes, this is a title I'm very much anticipating, not even to play it, but just to see like the reaction and what people will generally say. So pull out my little beautiful what do you even call this, a tier maker list template. There you go. Let me just find the title sequence for Indiana Jones. All right, I got it. Where are we going to place this, guys? Where are we going to place this? Well, I'm obviously going to place it in F. That's where I'm putting Indiana Jones. And the Great Circle. Like, these titles, man, they gotta be so much better than... They gotta come up with something better. They gotta get better material, because this is, like, come on, the Great Circle. I mean, come on. Alright, what do you guys want to do next? You said Perfect Dark. We'll do Perfect Dark right after this one. Let's do... Far Cry Lego. I know Doom is gonna be A or S. Well, it's funny that you mention it, because that is... Oops. That's kind of loud. That's what's going to be next. So hold on for a moment. You know what? I'm gonna group this in a way that's going to make sense. Tier. And then we can pull this up. Yeah, that's what's basically going to be next. Alrighty. And so yeah, basically you guys know what my journey with Doom is. You guys have seen me start the series. I very much like the first game. And this just kind of got me into it again. Like, just watching this trailer, definitely... I'm kind of already giving away how I feel about it, but, you know, I'm just saying, if we're going to do the next series after, like, the whole, what do you call it, the whole, once we finish Spec Ops: The Line, I think it's safe to say that Doom 2 will probably be the next one, so that we can genuinely go through the series as you guys wanted, and yeah, so, Doom Dark Ages, let's watch this. You know, I mean, like, I guess let's just watch it, and we'll get to the violence part. Before he became a hero, he was the super weapon of gods and kings, which is just interesting. And why can't I hear the audio once again? Oh. I see. Now I should hear it. Good. So it's like, what? The Dark Ages? How is this possible? And I gotta say, you guys, look at this city landscape. Just beautiful. I mean, we've never seen anything like it in any Doom games. And obviously, I've only played just one. But I'm pretty sure we haven't seen anything like this. And of course, it's the Dark Ages. So I think it's just a safe bet to say. Just beautiful to look at. And yes, since we're watching a lot of trailers, if we get taken down because of that, then I will restart the stream to make sure that we are back and fully running. Far Cry Lego, this game is a sequel to 64, so play this after 64 if you do the timeline order. You understand it more once you play 2016 and Eternal. Yeah, I'm kind of really curious because I had a friend who told me this is kind of, it might connect, or he told me that the timeline before the reboot, the supposed reboot, is the exact same one as the one we had with the reboot. So we have like two different games, or like the two different series of Doom that exist. He told me that they're basically the same timeline. I'm like, what? So it's like, I didn't know that. It's all one timeline. So yeah, so you agree, Far Cry Lego, good. So yeah, I'm very curious to kind of hear where this kind of lands and everything. And yeah, let's keep watching. So it's like, I have no idea how this fits into everything. You guys probably do, those who have played it. Well, look at this weapon. Oh, and it's the glorious shield, the bear skin on his back. And I believe it shoots him down onto the ground. Yeah, that laser beam is kind of like the opposite of an alien attack, where it's like the alien laser jet, like, mostly pulls things. In this case, you have like the opposite, where it just sends you down. And there you go. This weapon right here, I showed you some of it in my stories. What this weapon does is it crushes the skulls, and it basically, you know, it takes the broken skull, the fractures from it, and basically shoots them out. So the skulls are the ammunition for your weapon. That's so creative. You know, it's like, you kind of look at a lot of video games nowadays. You have something like Starfield, where it's space, it's sci-fi, and yet they always have the lamest weapons. It's like, oh, it's just weapons that shoot bullets in space, and some shoot lasers. Okay, and that's the most creative weapons that they have in Starfield? Seriously? But I gotta say, with this, and also something like the Ratchet and Clank games, which, you know, those haven't been the best, but you gotta give credit where credit is due. The weapons in those games are extremely creative. And honestly, this is what games used to be, just creative ideas with awesome gameplay, and that was the approach. Now everything is just not just live, of course, live service and pay to win, microtransactions, or movie games as like the opposite of that, which is, you know, I think we've gone into that direction way too far. At first, it was like kind of fun with Uncharted and maybe even The Last of Us, right? And you thought, okay, well, there's gameplay, there's something here, the story is cool. But then once they started, you know, once that became popular, they just doubled down on the filmmaking language in video games. And that pissed me off, because even if you look at Uncharted, sure, it kind of reminds you of an action movie, but in reality, it's still a third-person video game. The cutscenes are, somewhat scarce. I guess with 4, it definitely becomes a lot more. It progresses from series to series, but it's still the framing of the characters, the shots. It looks like a video game. It doesn't follow the cinematic filmmaking rules or whatever. It's a video game, and even like that's why I'm kind of pointing to those games, because even they had a focus on they appealed to gamers in a lot of ways too, not just people who were potentially interested in movies. Whereas now you look at something like God of War, the reboot, of course, that just became half of the game is, if not more, is just walking and walking. And I don't mean of course, this game is 100% walking, but there's a purpose. It's like a walking simulator. That's what God of War is. 50% walking simulator. If you have to backtrack, you have to basically climb. I'm talking about the 2018 game. If you want to go back or explore, it's extremely tedious because the climbing, for example, takes forever. It's meant to be cinematic. It's meant to be drawn out in a way where the characters can talk and you can just listen to them talk. But when you want to explore, usually those discussions don't happen, and if they do, they're not all that interesting. So in general, yes, gaming has an issue with live service and movie games, and it's become a problem. And so something like this is at least a return to form, and you like to see it happen. And now the shield. It's a seesaw. Wait, seesaw? No, it's a saw shield. And he throws it, I believe. It looks like he throws it. And now he's got the lasers. And now look, what was that? Was it like a chain? Wait, and that blocks it. Wait, hold on. We skipped past that part. There we go, there it is. So yeah, he throws the shield. And then what happens here? See if I can time it just right. And it is a chain. Oh, it's one of those, they're not maces, but it's like this chain that has almost like a wrecking ball design to it with spikes on the end of it. I forget what that's called. But that's what that was. You got the shield. No Captain America shield, but we'll give it a pass. What is this weapon? Now this one is shooting a bunch of spikes, I believe, or metal rods that they used in the Middle Ages to kind of put people's, stab them through their asshole, literally, and just put them up, on the stake, not the stake, just leave them there to hang. And I don't know if that's what it is, but that's what it reminds me of. Very brutal. And this guy is just, oh my. The enemy just looks massive. And wait, hold on. Now he's wearing his modern outfit. And he's in his mecha outfit? What? And there's a dragon. This trailer keeps just adding crazy stuff to it. And you can fly the dragon. And that's the Dark Ages. And it's got oh my gosh, the Godzilla roar. Like a atomic blast. I mean, a railgun, says Far Cry Lego. Okay, I guess that's what that was. But that was crazy, right? I mean, I think just like the whole thing with the Doom series, and this isn't a knock on the Doom series specifically, coming 2025, and it's coming out on all these platforms, which I guess we'll kind of also discuss that, since this was an Xbox showcase. And so that was that. Let's bring back our board here. And I'm going to place this, where should I place this? Well, with the Doom series, I guess like what I was going to say to you guys is there's just, the whole like violence aspect. And I guess it's a conversation about like violence in video games. People say it's like, oh, it can lead people to like kill themselves, which I've never really bought into, right? And I'm just not a fan of over glorifying violence in video games. Like the way Mortal Kombat does it, it's just over the top and too gross, and it's just like violence for the sake of just being shock value, right? That's what it is, or it's like for being funny, and it's not really taking this stuff seriously. And I guess with Doom, like at least the original one, it's just, blood everywhere. So it's not a very visceral, at least in modern terms. Maybe back then it was, and I think it was in the 90s. And the people are like, well, why are you putting this in F? I'm like, I'm not. I'm just keeping you into, like, I'm keeping you, what's the word? I don't know. It's not going to be an F. Don't worry. Mudcap is here. Hey, Mudcap. Mortal Kombat's issue is that it focuses more on gratuitous violence than actually having consistent gameplay from game to game. I mean, it's a fighting game, so I assumed it would be consistent in that regard. But I really do think that the main selling point of that game is really just violence. And I guess maybe that's what you're saying. Whereas with Doom, it's a lot more. It's like different guns, weapons, the aesthetic of fighting demons, and it's like, and I think I think violence in anything, I think it's tough. I guess I don't have really an opinion on it. Maybe I should, but for whatever reason it doesn't bother. Why? I guess we did go over the reasons why, because it's not just the one thing about. It's not the only thing that's appealing about Doom. There's a multitude of reasons as to why you could like it, and that's why we played it, and that's why we enjoyed the first one. And there's something to that for a reason. Let's see if Hosuke is saying anything else on Twitch. No, nothing else. That's good. And yeah, so I'm gonna put this on. I think I'm gonna put it on A. I'm gonna be like one of those people who is just going to be. I want to put in S, but I haven't played the previous games. Even though this like looks like total insanity and like a total step up in terms of like what you can even do in this, and I trust you guys that this makes sense within the lore. I'll trust you guys. So in a lot of ways it should be an S, but since I've never played the recent Dooms, which this game takes a lot from those in terms of like the presentation and like the way the gameplay works, I'll just be a safe person and put it in A. At the same time, does it really matter? Not really. An A, an S, it's a win. It's a win. A win is a win. Play this after 64. Well, I think I would prefer, if I was going to tell you guys what the order would be, it's like probably like 2, 64, and then I'll probably play 3 as well, but I'll play it on my own accords, since Far Cry Lego told me don't play 3. I'm still gonna play 3, but it's probably not gonna be streamed since it's so hated by so many people. So we then just skip to 2016 and then Doom Eternal. That's the plan. It's still miles off, and but yeah, I think that's what we're gonna go for. Oh, Far Cry Lego says, "Nah, I want to see you play 3. I want your thoughts on 3 live." Okay, interesting. In that case, we might just have to do it like a last thing, where it's like we play all the cool ones and then we play 3 at the very last, so that we get to the good ones first. But yeah, so far Doom is A. I'll put it at A. And the next one, Far Cry Lego mentioned, Perfect Dark. That's what we're gonna do next. But let me just catch up with the chat here. So Far Cry Lego says that the order is Doom 1, 2, 64, The Dark Ages, 2016, and Eternal. I understand all of it thanks to me playing all the games. Alright. And so that means get it on PC, aka on Steam. Yeah, since I don't own a PlayStation 5, nor do I own an Xbox console, at least the newer ones. It probably means I'd probably have to get Dark Ages on Steam, really, or on all the or on the other platforms. Oof, we barely got through that one. But yes, what else do we have here? I think we caught up. Oh, Woodcap, this is semi-unrelated, but I like how the Game Fest heard criticisms of walking simulators and introduced a climbing simulator. So Moodcap is referring to like the Game Fest show put on by Jeff Keighley, who is also known for putting out stuff like the Game Awards. He also has a summer show which usually focuses on indie games and sometimes AAA here and there, scarcely. And so it appears that I never watch it because I find it like there's too many games, too many announcements, none that stick out in particular. So that's kind of like where I'm at with that whole thing. I just don't watch it. If a good game comes out, I'll just find out. I'll find a way to find out about it. And that's how I look at it. Because it's like too much watching of nonsense at times. Even with like these game showcases, usually the announcements are very bad. With this, they had a stacked game announcements board. But it's like, how many of these games are actually going to be good? That's what we're going to speculate about. And that's why Indiana Jones is in F. Doom, The Dark Ages is in A. So far we've got one good game, one awful game. And A is probably like a great game too. And Woodcap says, just be glad you didn't sit through the snooze fest. Alright, let's get to Perfect Dark. So, the background for this game is that let me make my audio audible for me. So, I'll be honest with you guys, I know close to nothing about this series. I only know the main character, what she looks like, that she's iconic. I know that it's a horror franchise, and that it is a classic created by Rare, and that it's got some creepy levels that really mess with you at times. And I'm being specifically vague on what that means. Far Cry Lego says no, just no in the chat, which means I probably got something wrong, which is good. You guys are here to correct me. It is a sci-fi series. Okay. Interesting. Because I heard that there is like this very creepy scene in one of the games that messes with you, but maybe it's just one scene out of many. Killer Beam was the only thing I was hyped for besides Sonic and DBSP. What is DBSP? DBSP. That was Far Cry Lego, by the way. And going back to the sci-fi series in Perfect Dark, he says it's a sci-fi series and they were gonna have a sequel to the OG one. And so yes, eventually Microsoft bought Rare and they were supposed to do something with the franchise. The reboot never took off, and now they are kind of reviving it this time. And let's see how it looks like. In-game footage and cinematics.
Possession of a radioactive device. Stop carrying Harrington's attack at all costs.
What would you compare this to, Lego? When you say it's a sci-fi series, would you say more? It's kind of more like Dead Space? Would you say it's more like, I don't know? Is Doom technically sci-fi? A bit, since there's aliens in space. But yeah, what would you compare it to? Mass Effect. Like, of course, it's not Mass Effect, but I'm running out of franchises, even though there's like so many.
Good luck, Agent.
I always knew I
Twirl.
had an instinct. I could see the world differently. I thought it would be like any other mission. I
And
was
that's her
wrong.
face. That's the face, and it looks like a very generic. Let's see if I can find what the character used to look like. There we go. Let's put them side by side here. Come on, lady. Show up again. Okay, so that's her. I think her name was, I don't know if it's Jade, Joanna. That's what it is, Joanna. So this is what she looked like in, hold on. I got this image here. And there we go. All right. This is what she looked like in the original, in case you're wondering. So, totally different art styles. And of course, this is a promo art. The game looked very differently when it came out, but still, this is what she was supposed to look like. This is what they were going for. And her hair is on, like, her hair is on the wrong side. They got the hair flip wrong. That's insane. But yeah, it's very much different. And Hosuke, before you say anything, just please calm down. This is what she was supposed to look like, and what she looks like, if I gather correctly. And that's just not what it is. And here is somebody created like a, I think like a version of their own. Or not a version of their own, but let's see. It's the wrong file type. I'm going to give you a comparison of what it could look like. Let's see. Why isn't it working? There we go. Hopefully this works. So here's like a more modern take by somebody. I guess it's a different game look, and you know, it can be done easily. She can still look great. You can still retain some of that original art style, but no, they decided that they're going to go more in a realistic, photorealistic direction, and that's unfortunately where a lot of video games are right now. And speaking of like what I just said with the whole, you know, games used to be about ideas and fun executions too, like gameplay. Everything has become so homogenized in gaming right now, and it is sad. And everything has to look photorealistic, even though photorealism is not an art style. And it pisses me off when people say, oh, at least it looks better, but it's not as good as the original for X and Y reasons. Well, guess what? Photorealism does not make graphics. Graphics, you know, it's art direction is what defines whether graphics are good or not. I mean, I know it's kind of like it goes against what everyone used to think used to be good graphics, but that's because of marketing. People used to think that, okay, more realistic means better, but I think now when we finally get more realistic graphics, I think, and it's good that we have this benefit of hindsight, but it really comes down to like realizing that really the most exciting and most creative video games are not trying to be photoreal. And I'm not saying a game can't look photoreal and still be interesting, but compare like what you had with the first Spider-Man video game on the PlayStation 4 and how it got remastered and how it just, even the face aside, which was awful in the remastered, even if you look at like the photorealism that was applied to the remastered version, the whole appeal of like the environments and the world, which almost had like this cartoony quality to it in the PS4 version, in the remastered version, everything looks like them just trying to copy what's outside of your window, and that's no fun. That just pulls you out of it. And so that's my little rant over here about photorealism in video games and how it's really not clicking. And imagine like your favorite series, Mario. Like, imagine if Mario was photorealistic. It'd be creating it would be nightmare fuel. But not just that, but it would lose its appeal. And I really think it's really comes down to, and Mario games are just beautiful at times, right? Like there's so many beautiful moments in those games, and they don't need to be photoreal. So really, comes down to art direction. I can take a look at something like the original Crash Bandicoot and compare it with the Insane trilogy, and you know what? I'll just show it to you right now. Original versus Insane trilogy. What's a good comparison here? I guess I'll take like this screenshot. Yeah, this is a good one. Here it is. So here's the original, right? It came out in 1996. But look at Crash. So iconic, and his face, his smile, so wide and open, and he's about to jump on this hog here, this fourth hog, and it's supposed to lead to like this you're supposed to ride him throughout the level. And now look at the remastered version, which at first you might think it's like, okay, wait, hold on, let me get the image. It looks higher quality and there's more details, but just look at how everything seems. You know how there's like these 3D animated movies, the cheap ones that you see on YouTube, like, well, not just YouTube, but you know, the cartoons that they make of, like Franklin was turned into a 3D animated series, Franklin the Turtle. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but they also turned what's some other ones, like even Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir. It's that level of 3D animation when you clearly see it's kind of cheap looking, and that's what you kind of see here with the textures and the environment. I mean, it's HD and it looks more in line with what you kind of expect from 3D games nowadays, but look at the personality is just gone. And look at Crash, look at his face. Look at his grin in the original frame. And look at his face here. It's not even comparable. It's not 1-to-1. There's so much personality going on. And this even goes like, this isn't just like a still thing. The animations in the original have so much more life to them. The sound effects are wonderful in the original as well. The new one just feels like a cheap copy. That's what it really doesn't even feel like it. It very much is the case. So anyway, enough about Crash Bandicoot. I'm just trying to make a point, and it very much stands. So let's see what you guys are saying, since we kind of interrupted that with this segment. So I sent you what she looked like. I sent you her OG design. All right, so we'll pull that out. We'll probably definitely still see her later on. So I'll pull it up. If it's different, if it's the same, I don't see a point of yeah, it is different. Okay, we'll pull it up in a moment. and I sent you her OG design. So the one that I just brought up, the one with the red hair, where was that from? Moodcap, this reminds me of the concept art for Jak 4, Naughty Dog, did, where they replaced the cartoony designs to make the series into gritty photorealism. Yes, Jak 4 was going to be photorealistic, and over time the game progressed to a point where they're like, well, it's just a different game now, so that's how Uncharted was born. Far Cry Lego, I remember that. I'm glad it never happened. Moodcap says the original Jak and Daxter had so much personality in its art style, and also it's also Naughty Dog. Crash was also a Naughty Dog game. Man, Naughty Dog used to make so many classics. So Moodcap continues on, to say, Jak and Daxter had so much personality in its art style. I'm glad they quit while they were ahead. Remember when they gave Crash wrist tattoos in the late 2000s? Yeah, that was a different studio, of course. It was by Activision. It was a mistake, and it never happened. Like Far Cry Lego says, it never happened. There was no Crash games in the late 2000s. Moodcap says Crash Twinsanity did a better job updating the character designs compared to the Insane Trilogy, and that game was unfinished. Probably true. I never played Twinsanity, but I agree. Even those awful tattoo games, let's just call them that for a sec, even they had a better, even they looked so much better. Far Cry Lego, her version of the red hair was from a Zero, a prequel to the OG one. Okay, good to know. Okay, let's keep watching this.
I was wrong.
Is that her voice? She sounds like she smoked a pack of 15 cigarettes a day. Gotham City.
How far to his last known location?
Local forces are also tracking his whereabouts. You need to find
Oh no, Detective Vision.
Improvise.
It really reminds me of Cyberpunk 2077.
voice print.
Okay. What's going on here? See, I have not played the original game, so I'm kind of totally lost in terms of how the gameplay is supposed to work. You guys will kind of fill me in on that. So yeah.
Getting odd readings from your monitor. Can you confirm?
I'm looking at the screen right now.
So the graphics look pretty good, right? I mean, it looks solid, right? It looks even pretty here. But it's okay, but why didn't you go in the direction of the original? Could have had so much more to it.
Carrington on the second floor.
I don't want to hate on photorealism,
And the
but
life we think we know
it's really taking the toll.
turns
Okay.
out to be a lie.
So a bit of Mirror's Edge here, I see.
There's only one way forward. Find the truth.
The truth.
Scan's clear. I'm going in blind. Carrington! Damn it! Analyze. What am I looking at here?
Carrington appears to be targeting a research facility. If he attacks it, the cash
Also Half-Life Alyx a bit.
Agent Stark, it's a pleasure to meet you. I could use someone with your skills.
And here comes Cyberpunk 2077 comparisons. So the gameplay is mixes like several different things.
I had to lose everything before I could see. What this world was really hiding.
I'm curious how much of this is really going to end up in the original, in the official release. Like the way you can kind of like mess with the environment, use like the gas to kind of make that explode and create cover, but then when you can kind of headshot so many different characters.
I hope you're ready, Agent Dark.
Are you all seeing this?
Once you open this door, there's no going back.
Perfect Dark. Yeah, I have no idea how to feel about this, honestly. Other than the photorealism thing, I honestly have... By the way, the Perfect Dark series, it is something that I was interested in. And it might... Is it even on the Nintendo Switch Online service? I think it might be. Perfect Dark. I think it might be. There's a news article that says it was added. Is it a legit? Said to be added to Nintendo Switch Online. Okay, so it might not even be on the service. Right, I'm probably confusing it with a different series. Ah, well then. Emulation it is. Alright, so what do you guys think of this? Far Cry Lego, what do you think? I guess we'll just kind of try to go with what you think on this as well. So, that was the Xbox, Microsoft. Well, not just that one, there's more. So let me pull up my tier list. Looks meh. Alright. I think it... How close to the original is it? I guess that's what I'm kind of like curious about. Perfect Dark. Original. Maybe if I pull it up, let's see how the original plays. Let's do that. It's gonna be fun. Now, can we do it? Okay. All right. Here we go. We've got the... This is what the original looked like.
Why the big hurry?
Let's skip around just to kind of get a good idea. Okay, so it's just a first-person shooter, so... I guess you could say they're expanding on the gameplay. And this is what she looked like in the original too. Much shorter hair. Honestly, doesn't look... New one does not look pretty bad. And Far Cry Lego says it looks meh. So... But people were making fun of how the female character looked. Because let's face it, she is definitely a Far Cry from what you had. And it's like, okay, are they trying to purposefully make the female characters look bad? And I agree, it's become a problem. What I say, it is a deal breaker. Let's put it at C. Let's be safe here. I think we have our reasons. It's kind of like an okay category. So if Far Cry Lego thinks it's meh, so that would be like D. For me, it's a C in that case, because, you know, I don't know anything about it. And it looks kind of like it builds upon the original from the gameplay perspective. I don't know anything about the story. We know nothing about the story. Maybe there's some hidden clues here and there, but that's where my meter is at right now. So nothing like Perfect Dark. It is nothing like the OG. What? I mean, it kind of looked like it had the first person shooter aspects, and now they just added a bit more with like the audio files or like whatever that was happening. I don't know. Maybe there's something I'm missing here. All right, the next one. What's going to be the next thing we're gonna be viewing under the lens here? Let's do Fable next. But hold on, let's read some comments from the... Yeah, we're gonna do Fable next because those comments are just gonna be hilarious. But let's see what the comments are underneath the Perfect Dark video. I assume they're going to be more positive. Hey, now where's Alien Villa? It's been 19 years since the last Perfect Dark. I hope we get to see Elvis, somebody wrote. And somebody else wrote, we've only waited 2 decades for Joanna Dark to return. Do you guys remember the laptop gun? So it's a bunch of people just kind of reminiscing about the old one. So, and then somebody else wrote, it's ma'am. So there we go. We have at least one person who is not a fan of it. Somebody else wrote, before Cortana, we had Joanna. Or Joanna. Nice. All right. Let's move on to Fable. Where is it? Hold on. Yeah. All right. Get rid of the tears. So, this series,
right.
I also don't have much of an attachment to. I always kind of like saw the Fable series and I was like, hey, that looks pretty fun, but I've never owned an Xbox. I think they're available now on PCs and maybe they've always been. But you know, I had other series that I was like, I'd rather start those, and then Fable was always kind of like a secondary type of series that I was interested in getting into. So it never really materialized, never really happened. But it's always something that I was kind of like, I always kept that in the back of my mind, thinking maybe I'll come back to this someday. It never happened, and now after so many years, Microsoft once again is reviving this series, and it's a fantasy world, and the last trailer got so much heat for the female character who looks even worse than Joanna. And I mean, she's like extremely ugly, and she's a diverse character, of course, which, you know, that's a given. And she looks like a Mary Sue. And yeah, let's just watch this. The entire trailer had millennial humor. So there's that again, which is very different from the Englishman type of humor that was very always applauded, or like, you know, people love their English humor, or British humor, as you would say, and many others would say. It depends. Like Englishmen, people in England would say it's Englishmen, and then everyone else just calls them Brits or like Britishmen. So yeah. But yeah, it's like that sort of dry English humor. That's what people enjoyed about that series, from what I understand. And now you have this. It's a Playground. The guys who worked on Forza Horizon games. The racing games.
So, you want to know all about heroes, do you? Well, you have come to the right place. Because who better to tell you all about them than perhaps the greatest hero of them all? Yeah? There he is, in all his finery. Cheers.
Oh, so that's a different character now? There's a second character now. Oh, that's the main character.
You get your mega fans.
You are like literally my favorite person.
You are like literally my favorite person. Like literally. Are you kidding me? This dialogue is already a red flag.
Haters.
Whoa. For a second, I thought that voice came from her mouth. I was like, oh, trans representation. Is that what we're doing here? But no, it was just a voiceover, a leftover voice from the previous scene.
Fan club, but we hate you.
That's the female character. Beautiful, as you guys can see. A bunch of moles on her face. She has crooked teeth, which I guess is era appropriate for that time. But still, she looks kind of like, I don't know, if we want to say, okay, maybe she's like Italian white. Maybe that's something that they were going for. But she doesn't look like pasty white. So maybe she's some other ambivalent race. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe she's mixed. I don't know. But yeah, people were right to criticize her. You maybe thought, oh, they were just kind of looking for stuff to be outraged about. Maybe they just caught her in the bad moment. You know, they just screenshotted the wrong still. No, it was not the case. But then you also have this trailer. They did not improve a thing. So there she is.
Your chances.
Let's see what they're saying. Like, let's listen to what they're saying. Oh, and I think I missed some chats. Moodcap, after Alien Colonial Marines, I've learned a lot not to trust the trailers. Understandable, that game was awful from what I've heard. Moodcap just wasn't, yeah, it's a miracle even, wait, hold on. I saw The Thing video game was getting a remaster. That's a game that needs a complete redo to take advantage of its premise. Moodcap continues saying, it's a miracle it's even getting acknowledged because licensed games never get re-releases. That is also very true. It's incredibly difficult for them to get a re-release. Just wasn't a fan of the ending though. Of all aliens to weaponize the Thing is something that should be on the list. Of all aliens to weaponize the Thing is something that should never be on that list. Nimbus, hey Nimbus. Didn't the Thing game also give an answer to who was infected at the end of the film? I'm not a fan of that at all. I've never watched The Thing, guys. I've never watched The Thing, which is insane. I know it's a classic and I gotta get to it eventually. But I'm still working on it, okay? I'm watching a lot of westerns right now. Recently I watched The Westerner, starring not George Clooney, oh gosh. I already forgot, but it's very similar to George Clooney. George Clooney, I think his last name was, wasn't it? Gary Cooper, there we go, not even close. Okay. That's what I watched. It was okay. Moodcap. Oh yeah, it does. That's a no-go because the ambiguity is what makes the movie's ending so good. Nimbus says, trash. Watch The Thing ASAP, says Lego. Nimbus, it's a great film. Moodcap, watch it. Nimbus, speaking of westerns, have you seen Rango? I have. I've seen Rango. I'm sorry we kind of going off script again with the whole programming that we had here, but you guys are kind of getting me. I see Rango and I have thoughts on Rango, and I gotta say I was not a fan of the movie. Maybe it's because I was maybe because I didn't watch enough westerns, or because of some other reason. Maybe somebody would say, oh, you watched it 10 years ago and maybe you didn't, maybe you were just too young to kind of like truly appreciate it. But I watched Rango, and a lot of people who I knew at that time who were even younger than me, they enjoyed Rango. And so it's like, I didn't. I thought it was a bad movie. I thought it was boring. I didn't like the main character. I thought he was just, I don't know. I don't remember the movie exactly. I just remember not liking it. Nimbus. It's a quote. You sly dog. You got me monologuing. Syndrome from The Incredibles. And now Greg. Accurate. But yeah, not a fan of Rango. Maybe I'd have to rewatch it. I will probably sometime, because it is honestly something I thought about. It's like, maybe after I watch enough Westerns, maybe I'll get back to Rango, and maybe I'll feel different, although I doubt it. It's like the whole animation, I was not a fan of it. Yeah, just everything. I thought it was just a bad movie. I'll go as far and say that. So, I don't know. Just me. But yeah, so the thing in its ambiguity was very crucial, as Moodcap says, and I think that's what I pretty much heard as well. So yeah, let's get on with this Fables trailer, or Fable.
I mean, sure, you get your mega fans,
You are like literally my favourite person.
your haters,
Like.
It's like a fan club, but we hate you.
your chancers, and the occasional giant toad, for some reason. But it's more than that. It's about the choices you make.
I'm a hero. I should do what I want.
Oh,
Thought you could save her.
You know, it's
course.
life and death stuff. That's what defines you, doesn't it? Really, stays with you. I knew this one hero. I took her in when she had nowhere else to go. Welcome to the most exclusive club in all of Albion. Thought I'd get her out there, make the most of her gift. But you know what it's like when you're young and you have a point to prove. I tell you, this kid, she had it all. The skill, the talent.
yeah, we get it. She's a Mary Sue. All right, just keep paying her compliments. We get it. We know what we're dealing with here right now. It's the typical Mary Sue script. It's insane that they have ran out of ideas and they still have to resort to this sort of nonsense. It's like, you're doing, like, come on, it's, how many times are you going to do the same thing? People are just bored of it. It's not going to work. You're not going to sell anyone on it. Just stop. Just stop. You'll hurt yourself. And yeah, as you can see, the humor is also not necessarily landing here.
She was something else, all right.
She was something else, all right.
Terrifying. So, yeah, I knew this girl once who made all the wrong choices.
Okay.
She's back.
Oh, so he was talking about somebody else. So it's kind of like a mirror thing, where he was talking about somebody else. I just realized that was her voice reveal, which was kind of weird. She has a weird voice, like I'm the one to talk. But so they were doing this thing where they were kind of leading you on to believe that they were talking about the protagonist, when in reality they were talking about the antagonist, which is kind of like shooting yourself in the foot, because what you're technically also trying to say, since you were matching his dialogue with her character, you're kind of telling us that she's going to be pretty much a Mary Sue still, right? Unless there's a twist in the game where it's like, actually she sucks at everything, which is also like a double-edged sword. It can work in a lot of stories, but it can also be kind of tacky and overplayed once it reaches a certain point. So, but yeah, so far, if we're going to take things for face value, she's going to be a Mary Sue. And then on top of that, the antagonist is also going to be one. So you're just going to have the Mary Sue sisterhood running around this whole place. Like, come on. You are out of your mind. you think people are going to play this game, maybe just to dunk on it. It honestly looks like the new Forspoken. You guys know Forspoken. It is the Square Enix game that failed and had a lot of millennial humor, except that was more American. This is more British millennial humor. Even if you want, I don't even know if we even can call it that, because I've seen interviews with millennials who have a very solid sense of humor from England, mind yourself. And it's like, this is not anything near that at all. And it's time to read the comments underneath this trailer. And I know it's going to be rough because it's ratioed. So the video has 686,000 views. 686,000. Okay? It's only got 20,000 likes and 22,000 dislikes. 20 versus 22k. Or sorry, 20k versus 22k. 22k, of course, is the dislikes. I'm just repeating myself in case you guys get that, since I'm not showing any visuals. Somebody commented, so yes, it's ratioed. Please tell me there's another character. Or please tell me there's another character creator. A different comment says, can we create our own hero? Somebody else writes, Humphrey, Super Humphrey, Humphrey Hans. And then Dread Anon says, geez, I've mistakenly run to Albion trying to quote or maybe make fun of the trailer. Somebody else wrote, 2025, I'll see you in fall 2026. I think they'll release it eventually, and it will probably look like this. Don't expect them to improve anything. Why did the art direction of Dragon Age and Fable switch? Oh, interesting. So we still have zero info on the game since it was announced 4 years ago. LMFAO. Wait, was it announced 4 years ago? I remember the reveal. There was a reveal trailer. Then there was the proper trailer, which only showcased the humor and the main character. And, you know, it was pretty much what you would expect from that. And it's pretty much the same info here. Except this time you find out that there's going to be a female antagonist too. Jeremy, help. I've accidentally run into Oakvale. Somebody else writes, character creation, possibility of being good or evil. Your appearance changed and age over time like in other Fable games. Yeah, those were pretty big aspects of the Fable games. You could create your own character, create your own hero, and basically choose if you want to be a good or a bad guy. Does not look like to be the case here. I think it's going to be very much its own story. So, pull out my my beautiful tier meter or tier template. And what are we going to put this? There it is. Okay. So, when it comes to Fable, I mean, there's only one right answer. And it is going to be next to Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. It looks awful. I don't think anyone is going to question that. There's no excusing this nonsense. And I'm with everyone. It just looks bad. Alright. Now, next game. Next game is going to be... Oh yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. Oh dang, did I miss you going through AC Shadows trailer? You did not. We're going to get to that. Or showcase IDK what these videos are called. I think they're called trailers. Some are trailers, some are showcases. I agree, it's hard to pinpoint. I wonder what will be next. Oh good, not yet. Good. So yes. What else do you guys write here? A bit earlier. Nimbus, the close-up on her face reminds me of actress for Carly from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Oh no. I totally see it now. Mudcap, the characters in this trailer don't speak like they're in a fantasy setting, and it just rips me out of the immersion. There's going to be a scene in the game where somebody goes, well, that just happened. Totally. Nimbus says, she did the Northman thing. The Northman thing? Nimbus, but with an arrow instead of an axe. Wait. What did the Northman do with the axe? I don't remember. Like, you mean like scream into a volcano or something? I don't know. Nimbus also says, the whole thing of hyping up a protagonist just reminds me of John Wick, and it annoys me. Yeah. I mean, with John Wick, at least it makes sense. Because that's like the Baba Yaga thing. It's the myth, the legend, and it's the setup. And it plays differently than, oh, look, another strong female character who is quirky and funny, and we still have the same millennial humor. You know, John Wick is just your typical action star. And it makes sense for him. Like, you know, if you have an established assassin, of course somebody else will be very much aware of that, you know? You don't want to mess with the guy. The whole premise revolves around the fact that you pissed off one guy and you pissed off the wrong guy. And that's the premise, and so that works. The Northman at the beginning of the siege on a village grabbed an axe that somehow threw through the air at him, and he threw it right back at them. Oh, yeah, I remember that scene. I thought it was a spear, but I guess it was an axe. So that's what you were referring to. Far Cry Lego, we're doing Sonic's X Shadow now. Was that revealed during the Xbox showcase? We will do it. It's just not yet. Because next up will be... Woodcap says, remember the unsold Forspoken copies filling that landfill? I don't. But that's hilarious that happened. Hopefully history repeats itself with this. Did they really pull off a E.T. extraterrestrial thing with that game? Did they really? Oh, it might have been a spear. I wouldn't be surprised if I forgot parts of that film. I wouldn't blame you, honestly.
Good evening.
All right,
the Soviet
we're doing this
Union
one.
is no more. Despite a potential for instability...
Although I don't even know if it's anything to write home about, it's gameplay reveal. So let's see how this looks. And yes, we're doing Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Why? Because, well, I hate myself for one. And two... Where is this? And two, let's close this tier list. I kind of want to see where this goes. Because I've heard people saying that, oh, it's going to have 9/11, and that's what they were kind of hyped. And I'm like, okay, let's see how they alter history this time around. And they mess things up. And they, you know, that's kind of like they did last time where they were kind of quoting like communist quotes and like KGB quotes of like normalization, destabilization, and all those tricks that are very real and very they're taking their toll on the West right now. And I think nothing came of that really. It was just something for the trailer. So let's see if they end up doing something. You know, let's see if they end up just appropriating the topics instead of kind of digging deeper into them, or at least providing an interesting story around that. And also, like, the whole Omni movement is also an interesting point of discussion. So yeah, I wanted to see if we'll see any of that here, because there is something interesting about that, and people are very hyped about this game. I don't know if you guys know this. So before we get to the trailer, I want to ask you guys, because there's some other games that are out there, but we're not going to go through all of them. But there is, for example, Gears of War E-Day. I've watched the trailer for that. It didn't seem all that exciting. So, but let me know if you want to watch Gears of War E-Day, the prequel to Gears of War. We're going to skip Diablo 4. Avowed, that might be something that we might want to watch since it sounds like an original IP. Let's see if it has any potential. Dragon Age, The Veilguard, since one of you mentioned, or I think it was one of the commenters mentioned the Dragon Age flipping art styles with Fable. We might take a look at that. What else is there? Mixtape? What is that? World of Warcraft? Flight Simulator? We're definitely skipping those. We have Starfield Shattered Space. We're skipping that one because it's an expansion for Starfield. We've got Elder Scrolls Gold Road. That's also an expansion. There's Life is Strange Double Exposure. Oh, we're definitely... Guys, we gotta watch Life is Strange Double Exposure. We gotta watch it. I bet it's going to be the most hilarious trailer of all time. I mean, I'm hoping. I hate Life is Strange so much, so just the fact that they announced it during the showcase tells me we gotta watch it. Atomfall, we can skip that, I guess. Tell me if you guys are interested in any of these. There's, of course, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, but let me tell you, I'm probably going to skip that one since it's like, do I want to watch that trailer? It's probably going to end up in F since they're just adding all that new stuff into the game. But, you know, it's like, I don't want to watch that trailer since I do want to eventually play the Metal Gear Solid games. So I'm going to avoid watching this trailer. That's a remake, and it's probably going to give away crucial plot points that fans of the series already know. So it's kind of, I'm going to limit my exposure to that. But if anything, Metal Gear Solid Delta looks like it's going to be in F. But yeah, there's Fragpunk, Mecha Break, Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn, Winterboro, Sea of Thieves, I guess an update, South of Midnight, State of Decay 3. So those are all the other games. Mixtape, Age of Mythology Retold. Do any of these sound interesting to you guys? I guess just maybe like the Dragon Age one. There's also like a new World of Warcraft expansion, but there's just so many World of Warcrafts that we're just going to ignore that. So here's the plan. We're gonna do Call of Duty. Then we've got AC Shadows on there. And then I'm thinking of maybe we should just check out what Avowed might be. Because that sounds like it might be interesting. I've heard some buzz around that. Let me know if you want to see the Gears of War one, since that's a pretty big franchise. But honestly, I would just skip that one. Unless you guys disagree. Maybe Dragon Age. Okay? Maybe Dragon Age. And then Life is... So I would just add Avowed and Life is Strange. And maybe Dragon Age as a third option. And of course, Sonic X Shadow. Which trailer is it, by the way? Because there's been so many trailers for everything. When did that trailer come out for Sonic X Shadow Generations? Was it like a couple of days ago? Let me know. Alright, let's watch this Call of Duty trailer. And yeah, let's see what the fuss is all about. Oh, wait, hold on. Far Cry Lego says Black Ops 6 has less death animation than GoldenEye on N64. Oof.
These events clearly serve our national interest. Free from the specter of global conflict.
Today we celebrate the mystery of American renewal.
Something's going on. Something big.
Okay. So far, pretty standard stuff.
I figured if I stuck around hell long enough, I'd see the devil.
How's he look?
He looks like you.
The agency is compromised. hunted from the inside.
You don't have to trust me, Marshal. But it might be better if you do.
Hey, it's something you should see.
What the hell are we getting into? Don't trust anyone.
Is that Stanley? Truth, lies, and deception. It's the same thing as lies.
You broke into a CIA black site. Are you out of your mind?
Things got
Wait, what? Who was that? Was that Anne Hathaway? It wasn't. It didn't sound like her. You know what's interesting? This whole thing.
God continue to bless the United States of America.
Oh, brother, using the open beta. Hunters versus Hunted Operation Pack. I love how they had to just shove in something. That's very Activision of them. How Activision of them. This is pretty unusual, I gotta say, for Black Ops. It seems more lighthearted and more action-oriented, like action comedy. Well, comedy is pushing it, but it seems somewhat a bit more, I don't know, a bit more lighthearted. Maybe just me, but if so, it'd be an interesting development. So yeah, nothing to write home about. When I said omnidirectional or like omni movement, it's basically a so-called new feature. It's not a new feature, but it is something that is going to be new in Call of Duty, which is that as a player, you're going to be able to jump in the air, for example, and you're going to be able to turn around to your opponent while you're in the air and shoot them. You know, it's like, yeah, you turn in the air and then you can shoot somebody while you're kind of jumping. So that's what the omnidirectional movement is, or like the Omni movement, which has been done in Max Payne, but I guess it's the first time happening in a multiplayer game. I don't know. Not impressed with this one, really, but I don't know what to make of it. What do you guys think? Let's pull out my tier list here. Let's see. Nimbus says he didn't like 10 minutes. Oh, he liked 10 minutes in total of The Northman. I agree with you. It was very weak. I think people are overhyping it just because of the masculine angle, but I think it just kind of makes fun of men in a lot of ways. It makes them kind of look like, oh look, it's this guy who is just totally just screaming and he's driven by vengeance and he's all over the place and he gets made fun of by his close ones. I'm not gonna spoil who. At one point in the movie, and he's just made to look like a buffoon. And I think it could have been done much better from that. Like with the same plot, it could have been done way differently. Mooncap, yes, but at least E.T. had the excuse of being made by like one guy in the mid-80s. So yes, E.T. Extraterrestrial was an adaptation of the movie that got made into a video game, and the infamous story was that a bunch of E.T. video games for the Atari 2600, they never sold enough copies, so they had a lot of excess, and so they ended up sending it out to a landfill, and that was like a legend for the longest time. And I think in like 2016, it turns out that the landfill was real, that they did fill out the whole landfill with like nothing but E.T. video games, and it was a very historic moment. It was huge, and it was real, and it was hilarious that actually ended up happening. And yes, good point, Lego. This game is going to be 300 gigabytes. I don't know how they always do it. Activision with their Call of Duty games always do this thing where it's like they're usually 100 gigabyte games, sometimes 200, I think, and now it's going to be 300 gigs. No, that's just insane. Like, come on, what's in this game? Black Ops 6 has less death animation than GoldenEye on the N64 by Far Cry Lego. Nimbus says it annoys me that they went back to the hold on, let me take a sip of water here. It annoys me that they went back to the numerical naming system rather than sticking to something like Cold War instead of them labeling the game Black Ops 5. Yeah, I gotta say that was confusing for me when I saw 6. I'm like, where did 5 go? And apparently that was Cold War. So Woods is in the wheelchair already. We saw in Black Ops 2, but that was way in the future. I totally forgot if they mentioned it happened this early to him. I gotta say, I was thinking of like the Black Ops series and just like the Modern Warfare. That might be something that we might want to play, since I did hear the OG Call of Duties were good. That's what I heard. So something to consider. Although it's probably going to be put on the bottom of the pile. I didn't expect Adler to carry over from Cold War, the dude with the sunglasses. Was there a story in Cold War? I suppose there was. What's the Battle Royale one? That was Warzone, right? Yeah, I played that one with Nimbus actually too. Fun story. Nimbus says the best part of the Northman was his trial against the dead warrior guarding their sword. Yeah, that was like an interesting concept, I guess. All right, where are we gonna place this game, this amazing video game? I'm gonna put it. I mean, honestly, I don't even know. What do you guys think? You guys can place it. Where do you want to put it? I don't think it's an F. It doesn't look like an F, or is it? You guys can choose this one. Chat, unite. While I prepare the Life is Strange game, or like the trailer for Life is Strange. Double exposure. Okay, good. That's the one we want. Xbox. Good. And then also you can let me know what the Sonic X Shadow Generations is supposed to look like. Alright, Far Cry Lego says it is D. Is that what we're gonna do? Put it at D? Is that what we're gonna do? Nimbus, confirm, deny. And then we've got Hosky on here. I guess Hosky might not want to say anything. Nimbus, Cold War had a somewhat cool story and a neat optional endings which let you go full bad if you want, which is probably the most in-character decision. Alright. Sure, D, I didn't get much from it. Alright. D it is. I'm gonna just go with you guys on this one. Again, I kind of like with Perfect Art, I kind of, you know, Far Cry Lego would have probably put that at D. So I'm like, okay, let's just put it at C to kind of meet him halfway there. But all right, now for Life is Strange. So now this is the one we're gonna be all waiting for. Very hyped up. All right. So here we are. I mean, the first Life is Strange game, I only watched PewDiePie play it to tell you what happened there. I watched PewDiePie play it, and it was awful. Just even watching somebody else play it, let alone just playing the game itself. And they've made so many sequels ever since. Of course, it's a lesbian story about two girls falling in love for each other over time. It's one of those. So, like, there's choices that you have. It's one of those choice games, like the interactive dramas, but you can also reverse time. But at the same time, your choices are very limited, and you can't really do much aside from what the game already wants you to do. The time warping mechanic, again, it's all very linear and play pretend. So let's see what they do with this one. Let's see if they follow up on the awful voice acting and dialogue.
I swore.
Oh
I'd
no.
never use my power again.
I'm already cringing. Oh wait. Is it about the same character? Is it a follow-up to the original?
But 2 nights ago,
What was her name? Chloe? Wait, Chloe was the actually...
found my friend's body in the woods.
What? Whoa, they improved the graphics. Incredibly. An all-new supernatural murder mystery. The original was not a murder mystery.
Or who trusts me.
It's the same voice.
My friend Safi
Safi? Her name, my friend Safi.
is dead.
You mean Sophie?
So why can I still hear her voice?
Because you're mad.
I somehow shifted into a parallel timeline.
Oh, brother.
Safi is still alive, but danger stalks our every step. And only I can investigate both realities.
Hang on. Parallel world?
It's the same as this one, except
She sounds so bored.
dead. I can still save Safi.
Safi?
If I can solve and prevent the same murder across 2 timelines.
This is the new max qualified whatever it said. Okay, I'm just gonna be frank about this. That was boring. And it's probably going to be awful. Let's put out the tier list. Just put it here. And we can move on to the next one, which is probably going to be Avowed real quick. Let's see if it's even worth looking at. Okay, I guess maybe not. Okay, let's not watch Avowed then. And maybe we can do Dragon Age. It's kind of interesting because I thought that they were going to call it Dreadwolf. That was kind of like what they were throwing around. Oh my goodness! The dislike ratio on this video. We're watching the Dragon Age one for sure. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're definitely watching this. I need to know what happened here. Oh my. Crazy. Who would have thought that this would have happened to Dragon Age? But let me tell you something. While we kind of chat here about what we're about to see with the Dragon Age situation. Oh, dang it. Trying to multitask with these videos and trying to get them is tougher than I expected. Alright. Alright, I should have it now. So, Dragon Age. I always thought it was like this odd series. It was kind of like a precursor to Baldur's Gate 3 in terms of like what you can expect. So, lots of romancing options. You can make love with like this horn guy. So, it's one of those weird series where it's like, it's probably going to suck. And you know what? It probably did. But people hailed it at that time. And that's just me going off of like me being random. But you know, it's not me being random. I'm never being random. I'm just me trying to kind of like piece together what I see in the trailers, what I see in the announcements, what I see in the reviews, and I just kind of make my opinion off of that sometimes. And I'm usually on point 9 times out of 10. It happens. What can I say? I'm gifted that way. I'm talented. Whatever. I gotta live with this curse. And so that's what Dragon Age strikes me as. I'm speaking of Dragon Age Inquisition. And so with this thing, I don't know. The fact that people turned on it surprises me. Because to me, it looked like the series already looked kind of lame to me. And so the very fact that people enjoy those games, and I don't know what had to happen in this trailer for people to just totally totally flip on it. So I am really interested to hear what happens here. So before we do that, let us... We got somebody in the chat saying something. Nimbus, what are you saying? I can't wait to see Yasuke begin fighting as the black version of Japanese Toons begins playing. What? You are trying to overhype us now. You're trying to totally derail our stream, and you're trying to make me go to AC now. But I gotta stay prudent. This is an America Chavez origins story. That was Nimbus, of course, talking about Life is Strange, and I'm glad he agrees. NF. What about Hosuke? Hosuke's pretty chill on Twitch, as always. Good. I have no idea what happened to this Dragon Age situation, so let us see. EA, we're not surprised. BioWare. Ooh. BioWare are the developers of Anthem, Mass Effect Andromeda. I remember when Mass Effect Andromeda came out, an awful video game, and people were saying, oh, you gotta give him a chance. Nimbus says Grizzy is streaming right now, and the thumbnail for his video is making me crack up. What is Grizzy doing right now on his YouTube channel? Grizzy. So he's doing, oh no, he's doing what is called Shill Watch-Alongs, Star Wars The Acolyte Episode 3 with Knights of Melvin. And on the thumbnail, he has the black lesbian leader matriarch. And beneath that, you have 2 lesbians scissoring. And on the right of that, you have a character from Borderlands doing the killing himself with a gunshot hand movement. And then there's a mask. So that's the thumbnail. Mr. Grizzy, that's the name of his channel. If you're curious to see what the thumbnail is right now. I assume he is gathering material for his cringe compilation. And yes, Acolyte is something we're going to get to probably next week. And we're going to have like 4 episodes to go off of, right? Today's what? Yeah, we're going to have like 4 episodes to go off of next week. So I think that's a good time to kind of like revisit Acolyte then and just kind of leave it off for this week. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. But going back to BioWare, yeah, they created an awful prequel or sequel to Mass Effect, which was Mass Effect Andromeda. people were saying, well, it's a different Mass Effect team. It's a different BioWare team. Give them a chance with Anthem. And Anthem was in a lot of ways even worse. And now they're saying, well, give them a chance with BioWare. And now it looks like it's getting ratioed. And it looks like just BioWare just lost and fell and will never recover, which I could have told you that going off of what you saw with Mass Effect Andromeda, which came out in 2017. So right after that point, I knew it was going to stay in the dumpster for the rest of eternity. And it looks like that's going to be the case. Game engine footage, not all images appear in game. Then why even show them to us?
This'll take more than you and me.
Harding, the scout.
We need someone to be our eyes and ears in the shadows.
The detective.
And someone to bring a little darkness to the daylight.
Lucanus? Lucanus.
We're going into the fade, aren't we?
This looks like a D&D game. A game of D&D. Again, it's hilarious because I say that Dragon Age was the precursor to Baldur's Gate, and now you have Dragon Age ripping off Baldur's Gate. Hilarious.
Picking up a lot of buried secrets.
We've come full circle now. Very diverse characters, like different ethnicities. But I think that's pretty much what you should come to expect from Dragon Age.
Yeah. Someone who will stand between us and a pack of demons.
You know there will be dragons.
Right. We'll need someone with fire in their blood. One more thing. This crew needs a leader. Someone we can count on. Someone that the world can count on.
A woman. Watch that be the reveal.
Where are we gonna find her?
Come on, lady, show us your boobs. Not in that sense, just like reveal to us that you're a woman. You know, she had a pink face mask, so it's gotta be a woman. So much purple. It's like they're definitely trying to... Oh no, and it's coming out in June. Oh no! It's coming out in... Wait, it's already released? What? Wait, what? Is this real? It already came out on... They announced it on the... Oh my goodness, they announced the premiere on the same day that they showed the first trailer. Is that it? What? Dragon Age... What's the... What's the name of this stupid game? Veilguard. I'm going to check Metacritic because this is trippy. Let's see. Metascore. Critic reviews are not available yet. User reviews are not available yet, so it didn't come out yet. What is going on? This title is... this is confusing. Oh, I'm so stupid. Gameplay premiere. It's right there. Do we want to watch the gameplay? We don't. We don't want to watch the gameplay. But I wanted to get to the comments. So it's got 177k views. It's got 3.1k likes versus 22k dislikes. So over 7 times the amount of likes. And the first comment, okay, but where Dragon Age? You sure that's not an Overwatch trailer? The tone feels off. Remember when Dragon Age was dark fantasy? Something tells me this might be the last Dragon Age game. We waited 10 years for this? Why? Solas was right. The world is too cruel to walk in. How to join Solas? So it's probably a reference to one of the previous ones. Okay, now reveal Dreadwolf. Yeah, this isn't good. People are not fans of it. And that was it. It looks like a D&D game. So now we know. Alright, we're going to place this. Obviously, it was probably even going to end up there from the start, honestly. Just it being a Dragon Age game. But it's got to go in F. And let's hope no other game just ends up in F because we're running out of space. Yeah, what are you guys thinking? Nothing. Good. I like it when you guys think nothing. Alright, now. Let's reload the chat just in case. Just to make sure you guys are still here. Good. Okay. Good. And that leaves us with Assassin's Creed Shadows and Sonic X Generations. So let's just do Assassin's Creed Shadows. You guys waited long enough for that. Alright, gotta put you here somewhere. Alright.
Peace and war, benevolence and cruelty. I tread my own path.
Why did he choose to show monkeys first? You know what? Maybe let's not watch that first because that's the gameplay trailer. Let's start with the first. There's 2 trailers for this one that I have. And let's start with this one maybe. There we go.
Did your father ever tell you why my bones ache in the weather? War. Their soldiers killed everyone.
I do not fear our enemy. They talk of peace and dream of war.
Far Cry Lego. Fable peaked with Fable 2 back in 2008. Well, the gameplay looks smooth, but it looks nothing like Assassin's Creed. And the character, just to kind of put it into perspective for you guys, she is a fictional character of a real life person. So instead of playing as the guy, a fictional character, a real person who was Asian, mind yourself, and a man, they decided to shove in a woman into the game and make her fictional. Of course.
Vengeance is a lonely path now, eh? Believe me, there are other ways to heal.
Oh dang, he's gonna trample her.
Those so quick to abuse their power do not deserve to keep it.
There is much we will learn from each other, Yasuke.
This isn't even Assassin's Creed anymore. I mean, it's lost its groove, honestly.
When they will be better.
I mean, I'm not a fan of Assassin's Creed in general, but it's just not Assassin's Creed anymore.
Together. There is no honor in preying on the weak.
Together, we will bring justice back to the people.
Not impressed. Okay, let's watch the gameplay now. This is a longer video, but let's hope it is.
Fukujiyama.
At last.
We'll skip around a bit if it becomes... You missed it. Yes, you missed it. But guess what? I don't think you missed much. Don't worry. We're watching the gameplay now anyway.
The fields are busy. A big harvest requires many hands.
I think what I said in general was that it's no longer Assassin's Creed anymore. It's just a totally different game. And that it's basically become non-Assassin's Creed since like AC Origins. When it was still kind of trying to be it. Is that a female guard? Seriously?
And merchant looks uneasy.
I will not tolerate this disrespect.
At least it's in-game, you can tell. I appreciate the honesty. Hey, it's Fox. Okay. Don't tell me you can pet it. Please don't. No, please don't make that the offense. No. So for those who don't know, there's this whole trend in games now where there's like... It's become a meme, but like a very stupid boomer meme where it's like, can you pet a dog in this game? If yes, it means it's a great game. And that's like the whole joke. It's that you can pet dogs in games, and it's like Tears of the Kingdom could not let you pet dogs, therefore it's a bad game. Haha, joke funny. And they basically played into that with this trailer. It's so dumb.
Samurai sir, this way, I beg you. Hurry sir, please.
Right behind you, little one.
What was the other kid doing? He was kind of like tweaking over there. Look at him. Look at him. This one right here. You thought it was him speaking, but no, it's this other kid. Look at him.
Right
Okay, he's gone.
Oh, Baba, I brought someone.
Ikimaru, I wonder where you went.
He was right. What do you mean you wonder where he went? He was right out the barn or whatever you want to call it. He was right there. Stupid grandma.
Ah, a samurai.
Yes.
One that does not hail from these lands.
I am a stranger.
How could you
yes,
tell?
But you have nothing to fear from me.
I have enough to fear from the men of Kochiyama. They abuse their power, taxing us. Again.
Somebody made a comparison of the facial animations in Unity. And of course that game was broken at launch, but after it was fixed and patched, they compared the animation of that game to Mirage, and it's insane how animation of like facial animation has gone downhill. And it continues to tell you that these people are the resources are not being spent on all the things that were usually being spent on. It's a problem. And that's why we have more soulless games.
And again, leaving us only scraps. I bet they are in the market now, along the main road. A stranger might make good merit, ridding a village of a threat like these men.
Is that so? Then I shall see it done.
Press B.
This life is
Just
not
press
the
B
next.
at this point. This grandma is just total nonsense. She disappeared like a ninja herself. She can take care of him herself. I spent way too long petting dogs in Red Dead Redemption 2.
More division among the people here.
Says
More
Nimbus.
corruption.
As if the showcase wasn't in Japanese. Oh yes, I think this fight is what I saw and what I talked about.
Such beauty, shadowed by suffering.
What beauty are you talking about? We're talking about the people.
This isn't your fight, samurai.
This is definitely... Like, this does not look like Assassin's Creed at all. Even the ninja girl, she reminds you more of a ninja than... Like, she has almost nothing to do with the assassins. It's a revenge tale for her. What kind of sword is that? Okay. So a lot more emphasis on animations and executions. Why? Like, what's the obsession with the gameplay itself? I mean, those are very easy enemies, you can tell.
Take your peace.
What the? It's kind of cool. A lot more blood in this game, isn't there? Oh, the ragdoll physics seem to be improved, but there's a lot more blood in these games now than there used to be, right? Like, the blood is just spilling everywhere.
Greed cannot rule this village.
Look at the sidebar, guys. Look at the sidebar. Look at how many to-do tasks there are in this game. It's beyond parody at this point with Ubisoft games. Okay, let's go a bit further. It's more combat. Look at the blood. It's going all over the place. Oh no! The music. That's what you were saying.
Who do you think you are? For the people?
I am the Black Panther. You were right. The hip-hop Japanese music. That's insane. No way. No way. They keep doing this thing with video games especially. But they do it in movies too. Where it's like, black character, therefore he has to listen to hip-hop no matter the time period. You guys know the Prince of Persia game where they replaced the Persian with a black guy. It's like, we shouldn't have done that, but we did. We did do it. We replaced the guy you wanted. And guess what? He's going to be listening to hip-hop because he's black. It's like, seriously? And that was a trailer, of course, but come on. Come on, you guys. It's like, I'm surprised people are not kind of offended, but I guess it appeals to them. Whatever. Steven, my brothers. Hey, Steven. Yes, it's your brother on the screen right now. Love the hip-hop remix of the music. So shameful. For shame. It's just like Yosuke anime in the first episode. He gets into a fight and hip-hop style music starts playing. Well, there you go. It's really beyond parody at this point. Everything about Ubisoft games is that. Oh boy. Where's the music? Bring it back. I'm just expecting the woman to like bring out the chopsticks at this point.
I was going to handle that.
Too slow.
Oh gosh, shut up.
What did you find?
The samurai has been stealing from the villagers. He has been starving the people here for some time.
So now we know who he worked for.
The daimyo in Fukuyama Castle.
Nimbus, I want a white guy to get into a fight and the banjo just starts playing. And just country music for no reason.
We should go.
Not before
Taylor
we send our allies
Swift
to look for
as you play as a white girl.
You'll be difficult to find.
The daimyo.
But father, he broke up with me.
Who will take the lead?
We can sneak in.
Or charge through the front gate.
The voice acting for the woman specifically.
It's It's almost dark.
It's like choosing between a woman and a black man. It's like, oh, the choices you make me choose. The choices you make me choose. The choices. I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding. Kidding, guys. Kidding. Okay?
No one will see me coming.
They will not stand a chance.
We can obviously use mods.
But be careful in there.
Don't worry. I won't be alone.
What is this voice
It'll be me and the
acting?
shadows.
This can't be real. They have to replace her with somebody else, because she looks like she's not even bored. It's like even a level lower than bored. It's like, I don't even know what to say. It's hard to explain. It's like she's reading off of a teleprompter, like she's being forced to do it, but at the same time, she can leave at any moment, and she's just there to watch paint dry. I don't even know.
In the shadows.
I've seen bored people
To serve their light.
sound more passionate than she does.
I'll go straight for the daimyo. When fighting a snake, why wrestle the body when you can slice off the head?
Giving me Gal Gadot energy here. But even then, Gal Gadot was so much better. So much better as... And I know that sounds crazy to say now. But in comparison to this lady, yes, she's better. It's like the Bill Burr tweet about Trump and Clinton back then, to F with people. But with these characters, Yasuke is so bad, he's actually going to make me play as a woman. Honestly, listening to this woman's, like the way she talks, I'd have to just go with Yasuke. Kal-El, no. That's right, Nimbus. Kal-El, no.
You're mine now, Snake.
Oh, brother, her voice acting. I'll turn it up a bit.
Who did that?
Shouldn't the black guy be a ninja? You know, just the whole hiding in the shadows. You'd think it'd be better suited for him. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that animation. I wonder if that's going to make it into the final game. Because take a look at that. Let's see. Did we just skip it already? Nope. Okay. She starts climbing here. And like, where does it tell you that you can use that motion? Maybe they hid it in the HUD? But how is that going to detect the action? Broken legs. Impossible to be stealthy. Wait, hold on. Yasuke can't be a ninja. Hip-hop music follows him whenever he goes. Impossible to be stealthy. So true. I didn't think of that until now. But you're making a lot more sense now, Nimbus. Oh, you can't kill a woman. You just gotta put her down. Again, these choices are very, very deliberate. Let's see. Is she gonna... Well, she already assassinated the other guy. Again, just killing the guy. Note to self, never stand near one of these.
He's coming. I need to hide.
Some detective vision, of course, for no reason. Again, how would the game detect that? How is that a place to hide? I guess maybe it's just like a one-off. Look at his walking animation, so stiff and awkward. For real though, I wish Yosuke was the assassin. This massive guy compared to mostly everyone else, just scaling the architecture, going between acting as a public samurai and a secret assassin on missions. Well, they needed a woman, so they invented one. Brutalizing guys? Thumbs up. Brutalizing women? Thumbs down, says Steven. Yup, pretty much.
You serve me scalding tea. Besides ruining its delicate flavor, I nearly lose my tongue for business.
Fujioka must have been the samurai Yasuke took out. Good riddance.
Goodness, the voice acting.
A daimyo like that deserves a slower death than the one I'm about to give him.
Oh, Chris Brown would not like this game at all. Oh no. Yeah, oh, Nimbus says, oh no, and laughs. Oh, she's just crawling on the ground like a possessed animal. What was the point of that if you just get seen? What the? You know how hard those things are? For her to be able to cut through that so effortlessly?
I've shed all the blood I need. Time to go.
What the flip? She sounds like a sociopath. I've shed all the blood I need. It's time to go. Even I said it with more emotion than she did, and I wasn't even trying. I didn't even realize. What the heck? You'd have to be... that's the thing. You have to be trying to sound like her. Oh my gosh. Stop. I don't know what that was.
You being allies then.
The way they talk to each other, it's like one of those things where it's like being with a coworker that you don't want to necessarily hang around with. So you like pretend to be friends with them, and they pretend to be like around you, and the way you guys always converse with one another is always awkward and stilted. That's the sort of feeling I'm getting from them. It's like the most unlikely couple to run around. No chemistry whatsoever. Just all around bad. Steven. It's funny because Chris Brown's most dedicated fan base are women. There's something always about women. I think they just like to be treated. Let's just say some women just like to be treated, how can I say this in a non-problematic way? Like somebody else is more masculine. There we go. That was a safe approach. I hope. Yeah, that shot of her like jumping and then cutting to like 15 different perspectives was just no. Nimbus, why did she start crawling like the Grudge? Steven, yo, that rope and sickle execution reminds me of a 2000s brutal ninja action movie that I keep forgetting to watch. What's the title of it, huh? Share it with us. Do not keep it to yourself. Nimbus, it's funnier than that him and Rihanna are friends. Are they still friends? Well, I have no words then. Steven, bruh, these cutscenes remind me to Shadow Fight 2. Yeah, that's weird. Also, never forget Drake got beat up by Chris Brown for Rihanna only to not end up with him, but her to remain on better terms with Chris Brown. Drake is just taking all the L's, and I'm not even up to date on all the drama that's happening right now. and a part of me doesn't even want to. At the same time, I do think like I'm missing out on some important lore, but I'll just decide not to take it this time around. We'll see how long I go without it. Greg's brain just applied the filter real quick, mid-sentence, haha. Yeah, I don't know what you're referring to, but yes. Never forget Drake's a creep, lol, and probably a predator. Yeah, I mean, he really likes them young. With, I don't know what happened recently, but, and I'm not even quoting Kendrick Lamar, although that's what he said in one of his songs, but, like with the whole, what was her name? I always get it wrong. Millie Bobby Brown. I guess that was it. Millie Bobby Brown, I think like he was interested in her at some point. Then he was interested in Ice Spice. You know, he's got like a lot of, let's just say he takes after a lot of different girls. Yeah. Drake was gonna end up being the new Diddy. Drake and Diddy get special privileges from Lucian, the owner of Universal Music Group. Makes sense, honestly. Yeah, the music industry is just, you know, we always talk about Hollywood and all that stuff, but the music industry is almost as messed up, if not more in a lot of ways, just because, you know, with movies, you have to have some story at least, and, you know, some substance at times. With music videos, or like music in general, you can be, an entire song can be just garbage, just vile to your ears, derogatory, and you know, that exists. So, and that's, you know, popular right now. And, you know, some of it is catchy, I'm going to give him that, right? So, yeah. Nimbus. Kendrick implied he hung around younger girls, and Drake just replies with, I didn't mess with Millie Bobby Brown, just full name dropping it and making it worse. Oh. Ooh. That is really bad. Steven, Paul 2. I think Ninja Assassin is the movie I was referring to. Nimbus, I love that the AC Shadows trailer has devolved into talk about the other black guys. So true. In that case, let's just tier this thing. I'm gonna rank this, of course, where it deserves to be, which is, where is it? Where's my, there it is. This deserves to be, let's make this smaller. There we go. S tier. But really, let's just make these smaller, I guess, then. Since I have an obsession with being precise about most things, yes, I will make this smaller. Just to make room for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Whatever, let's just put you next to here. And AC Shadows is going right alongside you. Where is it? There it is. Good. Alright. And that would be pretty much it, but we have one more thing to take care of. Which we did tell Far Cry Lego that we're going to watch it. So we're going to do it. Plus, Steven, I think you're going to be interested in this one as well. It came out during this Summer Game Fest. So it's fresh as well. It came out 4 days ago. Let me just get the link to it, because it's a requested video before we end for today. And yeah, I'm telling you guys, today was a very good idea to go with just the announcement and not the game. Because like I said, there's a lot happening. And yes, like I said, Saturday is off. I'm off on Saturday again. which means we'll be back on Wednesday, and hopefully we'll play more of the games, and we'll probably talk about the Acolyte, since there's just so much happening with that whole thing. And in general, like, the news cycle is just incredibly busy right now. I was like really struggling to kind of pick one thing, but I'm like, let's just go with Xbox. And I think we did well. Now, for the final trailer of the evening. Pum 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 pum. All right. Here we go. So this is almost like a remake of Generations, right? It's just they're adding more to it, more levels. In Anti-Heroes. Oh wow, so many city lights. It is a remaster, okay. But they are adding more content with the Shadow stuff, right? I'm pretty sure, because I don't remember Shadow being like even in Generations. I heard last night that apparently Chadwick Boseman was wanting to make a Yasuke film before his condition worsened and he obviously passed. Stephen Paul too. That's pretty sad. I think we'd get a good movie from him. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I gotta get more into Sonic. Okay, then maybe I'm confusing you with somebody else then. Because I remember somebody else, not just Far Cry Lego, but also some other guys, some other bloke talking about it. And I can't remember who it was right now. Maybe it was Moodcap. Oh no, Dubstep. Why? Classic Sonic. I saw people being mean to Classic Sonic on X or Twitter the other day. And it broke my heart because people were just being mean to him for no reason. And if anything, it's the modern Sonic that should get all the hate. I mean, Classic Sonic made you. What are you gonna do to him? And that was it. That was the trailer. You can pre-order now and receive Gerald Robotnik. Whoa, what? Eggman's name is Gerald? No. That's not true. Is it? Is his name Gerald? Really? Gerald Robotnik? Is that his first name? So that's his journal detailing Shadow's creation. That's pretty cool. But it's probably also very cheap. No, that is his grandfather. Oh. Okay. And then a Sonic ad. They're selling you an ad of Sonic? I don't even know. Oh. Sonic Adventure Legacy skin. Okay. Okay, now this stuff gets me. Additional level and skin for Shadow releasing on holiday 2024. So you gotta pre-order a game just to get an additional level. What? Okay, whatever. It better be some just tacked on level. And it's not even releasing on the day of the release. And you get skill points. Oh, brother. Does that mean this game has microtransactions now? I guess it's more like experience points, but were there any skill points? And wait, aren't skill points kind of like at the end of each level you get ranked? It's S level, A level, A rank, and all that stuff. Are they basically telling you that you can get scored higher? Is that what skill points are? It's easier for you to get a higher rank if you fail or something. Is that it? Is that really it? extra BGM pack. What is BGM? Is that like background music? Digital art book and OST. Ontario skin is, of course, the skin they're referring to, which was, from what I understand, it was the original Shadow Pitch. Looks like every single Sonic OC that ever exists online. So it's hilarious that's what it looked like. It basically looked like Sonic, but just with ears. Wait, no, not ears. Sonic has ears. But just no spiky hair. No spiky hair for you. Sad Sonic, mopey Sonic, mad Sonic. Greg, please sign. Whoa. What happened? Nimbus, petition for Shadows to be moved into H tier for hip hop. Please sign here. Okay, well, which Shadows are you talking about? AC or Shadow the Hedgehog? Because I might put a Shadow in H. Stephen Paul 29 might have been me telling you that a Flash video game would work better as a Sonic style game than a beat 'em up. Far Cry Lego. No, it is his grandfather. And Nimbus says, "Wow, don't go leaking his government name like that." Well, it's a fake last name, of course. Duh. You need to do more Sonic lore. Well, I mean, gens needed more levels. Okay, so like Generations needed more levels. Yeah, I heard it was a good game, but it was fairly short from what I heard. I did watch like gameplay of it because that seemed like the most interesting one, Generations. So that's like the one I watched a long time ago. And it's kind of coincidental that this is the one that's getting remastered. Stephen Paul to Nimbus. I signed your petition for Shadow to be moved into the H tier for hip hop. Thank you. Make sure to share across all social media, says Nimbus. Now you, Greg, please sign. Okay, where do I sign? Hold on. Signed. There you go. AC Shadows. Nimbus Yasuke, the music follows him. Sonic Heroes is the one I played on PlayStation 2. And then Hosuke says, streaming, whoa, hold on. Is this the new Assassin's Creed game? Yes, it was. I know, it doesn't even look like one, doesn't it? It didn't even look like one. But this is not a new Assassin's Creed game. Believe it or not, it is actually the new Sonic game, which is an old Sonic game. It's just a remaster. Yes, modern gaming. Hosuke streaming after 10 is wild. Streaming after 10. Well, yes, but we're almost done and we started late. And like I told you, this is like more of a reason as to why remaster. Yeah, Hosuke. It is a remaster, and I mean, when it comes to remasters, honestly, I'd rather get the remasters than some awful live service game or movie game. So at least it's a win in that regard. You get to replay an older game, but it just sucks that you don't have games on a AAA scale that used to be really just not only good, but they used to represent the best of the industry. Now you gotta look to indies for that. And it's just not the same, because indies, even though they're very innovative or fun, they usually just have like one mechanic, or they're very simple in design. And that's not what games should be. They should be innovating every generation. They should be pushing the envelope. That used to be very much the norm. But again, coming back full circle to what I was kind of saying with Doom and just how games used to work, everything just was different. Like the mindset of like what developers used to prioritize was just making an interesting, creative game, whereas nowadays it is very much about listening to the higher ups who have to answer to higher ups. It's just, and then those guys have to answer to shareholders, who in a lot of ways are also customers themselves who play these games. So it's really just a total mess nowadays, and the creativity has been sucked out of everything. No one likes this at all. It's anybody's game, no pun intended, when it comes to live service, and you get more misses than hits, but the hits, once you have those, they end up making a bajillion amounts of money, a more billion, and that's just the industry where it's at now. So remasters are really the least of our worries. At the same time, it's also kind of cheap of them to do that instead of just re-releasing the games or porting them over. They will just kind of overcharge you with a remaster and kind of pretend like it's a new game. Scummy, but oh well. Like I said, I'd rather have a remaster of a older, better game than a lot of the games that are being put out right now. And yeah, this was, with the exception of Sonic, this was the Xbox showcase. People said that it was an incredible win for Xbox. It was better than the PlayStation State of Play, which I agree. But people saying that it's a win for Xbox are lying to themselves. Half of these games, if not most of them, are coming out for PlayStation 5. Okay? That's number one. Number two, 100% of these games are coming out on PC. PC Master Race is winning. This is where video games are heading. PC is pretty much going to be the future, and Nintendo is still going to be on the sidelines, kind of trying to do their own thing with varying degrees of success. And so people saying, like, obviously Xbox's days are way past them. They're becoming the new Sega, and they're just interested in Game Pass, and anyone who knows the environment that they have inside of Microsoft, the studios are just totally demoralized after all the layoffs that have happened, all the studios that have been shut down after they've been acquired. So it's been Arcane, the studio responsible for Hi-Fi Rush, and all these other developer studios just shut down, fired, and it's rough. It really is rough. So I don't know when things are going to get better. I wouldn't count on it. That's why we're playing older games, because there's a lot more interesting stuff in them. There's a lot more in them, like creativity wise, and they have a lot more to offer. They take risks, and each game has its own approach to everything. Especially the older games, especially PlayStation 2 era, even like the early PlayStation 3 era, each game kind of like plays way differently than the other. And I mean like the way the controller is inputted. I mean, we were just playing Spec Ops The Line last week, right? And I told you how I kept confusing the controls for Red Dead Redemption, which is also a third-person shooter set in a desert location. And it's like I kept confusing the inputs for Red Dead Redemption with Spec Ops The Line and vice versa. And that just tells you, and those games came out 2010, 2012, that just tells you how different games used to be in terms of just even something like input layout, the controller layout, and like what button correlates with what. Whereas nowadays it is, everything is standardized, which I don't hate, but then you get to the gameplay, and everything is just copying one another, and everything is just copying movies, and if not, then it's just live service. Anyway, yes, so if I were to rate this entire conference, let's see, we got I would say it's an F conference. I mean, you got 5 awful video games versus 3 okay to great ones. Not impressive. We got 1 great one, and you could have learned about this announcement somewhere else. yeah, Doom The Dark Ages looks impressive. Like every single second something else is happening. It's just so many moving layers. So many moving gears. And yeah, so I'd say it's an F conference. If these games were all exclusives, or if most of them were exclusives for Xbox and you wouldn't be able to get them anywhere, I would say maybe D. If these games were good, then this would be an A press conference, even an S. But these games will not be good. At least all the ones at the very bottom. Call of Duty also probably going to be one of the lower ones. So that's that. Let's just quickly read your comments and be done with today. So yeah, PS2 era had an overwhelming continuous flow of games. A generation of peak, even on failed consoles, quote unquote, for that gen. So like you're probably referring to Dreamcast, which had an amazing library of Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, Shenmue. That game, although it's aged pretty rough, like it's pretty rough now, but Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2, a lot of things going for it. Stephen Paul 2, I hope Nintendo doesn't stray too far from Iwata's vision and philosophy. He kept them unique and gave them their biggest hits. True. Also, some of their biggest failures with the Wii U. But I agree. He tried to do something unique. And again, it's about taking those risks. And honestly, Wii U had some great games. It's just Nintendo decided to port them over to the Switch, and so that rendered the console to be useless. It rendered it irrelevant, but again, that's their decision. And Far Cry Lego says, at least this one gives you a new game with a shadow campaign. Oh, it's a new campaign. Okay. Get every Doom game on PC, bro. Please do it. Why do you want me to get it on PC? Do you want me to use mods? Is that it? Nimbus. The Battlefront Classic Collection earlier this year was unforgivably scuffed. All they did was port the games and maybe slightly remastered some things. It was unplayable for a majority of people. Ridiculous. It was an awful situation. I wanted to get that game because I was excited by the prospects of, hey, you get to play this classic game. It's not changed. It's just slightly altered to make it seem like it's remastered. But it's very faithful to the original. They did the Tomb Raider remasters. Those turned out pretty great in terms of being accurate to the original. And it was a total 180 from those games. It was broken and no one played them. And it's a shame because it would have introduced so many people to a classic selection of games, of 2 games. And I thought I would get to experience that, but then I saw what happened and I'm like, I guess it's over. I guess this is it. So maybe, who knows, maybe one day someone else will come in. I think there's still some communities that, kind of use mods to connect through online and make it work somehow. So you can probably still find that community on PCs. Nimbus says, Steven says, Xbox isn't even becoming the new Sega because Sega kept having good franchises that they at least try to take care of. Sonic, Super Monkey Ball, Yakuza, technically Bayonetta, among others. Yeah, and Persona, Shin Megami Tensei. Even if you don't like those series, at least they're keeping it, they have those around. And they try to make them consistent and, in terms of quality. So Sonic Adventure 3 needs to be made, says Far Cry Lego, and he says, yep, that and higher frame rates. as well as higher size. Rise? Why'd you write rise? Probably rates. But yeah, that makes sense as to why you would want me to play it on on PC. But you know, I'm not hating the Switch version. H tier, H tier, H tier. I don't know if I can even create an H tier, honestly. Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. Come on, game. Here we go. This is how we're going to end the stream. What do you got to say, Hosuke? There's going to be a new 2D Looney Tunes movie. Oh, did they just announce that? That'd be pretty cool. I miss those 2D Looney Tunes movies. Well, I guess there was just 0 of them, come to think of it. Alright. AC Shadows. This is your chance to shine. Good. And then hold on. Let's do this. Yo. N-word. There we go. The H tier is here, guys. And on that note, we are going to end our stream. An amazing stream. Thank you guys for watching. And see you next week. Like I said, no stream on Saturday. And of course, we didn't play the games this time. You guys can also let me know how you guys feel about like doing instances where we don't play any games at all. I prefer playing the games because it adds another element, and we have even more viewers coming in, which is fun. This was fun. Take care, guys. Take care. Love to see it. Of course, love to see you guys here as well. The best, simply the best. And yeah, see you next time. Next time we'll talk Acolyte. 4 episodes, right? Next week we'll have 4 episodes. And it's just going to be hilarious. More Star Wars topics, which is crazy. We're having more Star Wars topics, but hey, it is what it is. If you got some good stuff coming up, then you just gotta, if life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. And that's where Star Wars is at right now. So anyway, no more delaying this stream or prolonging it any further. It's time for us to go. So, saluting you guys, and goodbye.